lads, welcome back to another video, and this one is a bit of a new series on the channel. Don't ask me how often this will be because it could end up being a thing that I kinda don't have the time to do once I go back to college after every sort of game week, but I'm going to try and make it as regular a feature as I possibly can, and it'll only be for weekend games like the weekend just passed. Obviously, you've seen by the title that I'm going to go through my games of the week in every single league in Scotland, so the Premiership, the Championship, League 1 and League 2. Pick one game from each league and talk about why I think that was the game of the week, in my opinion, from that specific league. So, it's a simple premise of a video, and it gives us a chance to go over Scottish football once again and talk about the highs and the lows of what Scottish football brings for football fans. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Now in the Premiership, the opening weekend served up some crackers, and notable mentions have to go to Celtic's 7-0 win against St Johnstone, which was just utterly impressive, if not expected by myself, because I did think Celtic would probably beat St Johnstone by a good amount of goals, but 7-0, you can't complain with it, and Ryan Christie's performance in particular was absolutely outstanding. There's also another one in the mix as well, Rangers and Kilmarnock, or Kilmarnock versus Rangers of course, Kilmarnock with the home side, and it took a last minute winner to win that game, and the controversy that came around that game as well with Rangers fans etc. It's just been picked to the post because of all that controversy, and I don't particularly want to highlight that side of the game because it isn't the nicest part of the game for us to all sit and talk about. It's a controversial part, and if you want to talk about it below, then do so. But the game of the weekend in the Premiership for me was Aberdeen 3, Heart of Midlothian 2. I had a wee bit of an invested interest in this game because I've got both Craig Halkett and Sam Cosgrove and also Lewis Ferguson in my fantasy team over on Fantasy Scotland. If you want to join my league, the league pin is in the description below. So I've actually had a good game week in the fantasy team because of this game. Craig Halkett got an assist, Sam Cosgrove got 2 goals, and he's my captain in my team. Lewis Ferguson didn't get many points, but hey ho, you can't win them all. So as I said, Cosgrove opened the scoring on the 13th minute for Aberdeen, and then of course Hearts came back into it and went 2-1 up. First with a goal from returning striker Stephen Naismith, sort of talisman for Hearts, completely changes Hearts' team when he comes into it. And also another returning face to score the second goal and complete the comeback to go 2-1 up was Jamie Walker, who really neatly finished it past Joe Lewis in the Aberdeen net, who Joe Lewis in fact did make a couple outstanding saves in this game and really did kind of keep Aberdeen within a chance of being able to actually go on and win this game eventually. That save for Christophe Berra's header was fantastic. So at this point, Hearts are 2-1 up. They're looking like they are going to go on and at least win the game. But then Aaron Hickey, he was on a yellow card earlier in the game, and a naive sort of challenge because he's still a young guy in that. He made a challenge that he just shouldn't have made. It led to a free kick for Aberdeen, a red card for Aaron Hickey, and then it subsequently in the free kick being taken and Hearts conceding a penalty. Cosgrove slotted it away and it's 2-2. Aberdeen fans in Pittodrie then start to get behind their team, and then Ryan Hedges blasts it past Zenit Zlamal. It was a fantastic finish, one that Zlamal couldn't possibly have stopped. It was so powerful and it sent the Aberdeen fans into raptures. It was just outstanding to see the game culminate in that fashion. Obviously not if you're a Hearts fan, but that's why it's the game of the week for me. It just had everything. It had the highs and the lows, going 1-0 up and then seeing your team go 2-1 behind, and for the away fans that would have been ecstasy, but for the home fans you're frustrated as hell when that happens, and then the away fans have to deal with their player getting sent off and then a penalty pretty much straight after and being clawed back to 2 each, and then in the dying sort of minutes of the game the home side come back and win it 3-2 and you're suddenly feeling so dejected. It's unreal. So that's why it's the game of the week for me in the Premiership. Fantastic game of football. So we now move back to Saturday's games, and we're going to talk about the Championship. Apart from my own game, I'm not going to talk about my own game anymore, Dunfermline v Dundee, because I've talked about it a lot, and despite the fact it might have been the game of the week in most people's eyes, I've talked about it too much. I'm going to give other games a bit of a limelight sort of thing in this series. So, notable mention in this one obviously has to go to the Dunfermline Dundee game. If it weren't my team, then it probably would be the game of the week. Another notable mention, Ayr 4, Morton 2, got a lot of goals in it, and certainly a good way to start the season in terms of excitement on the pitch. But I'm going to give it to Dundee United 4, Inverness 1. We all know why I'm talking about this game, and it's the debut of Lawrence Shankland in the league for Dundee United, and he's certainly lived up to all expectations that we all had of him. He's goals galore, and he will be that for Dundee United this season. I've predicted in my league predictions video that Dundee will win the league, but I also said that it could be a very close one, and it could almost be like a flip of a coin, and I did say that in that video back then. And on the BBC thing that I did, I said Lawrence Shankland will easily be the top scorer in this league, and I don't doubt that at all. The guy, as I said, goals galore. He just knows where the back of the net is these days. Long gone are the days of St Mirren and Morton, where he didn't really hit the heights at all, and he just wasn't the player that he is these days. Ayr United has really shaped Lawrence Shankland into the player that he is, and he's now going to show that at Dundee United. And it could be the massive thing that they've missed in the last few seasons. They've had players like Pavel Safranko, they've signed Osman So, they had Nicky Clark last season, and they still do this season. And we all know about Nicky Clark. But Lawrence Shankland is just cut for a different cloth, and he just knows where the back of the net is. And I wouldn't be entirely surprised at all if he is the reason why Dundee United eventually do get promoted, and his goals fire them back up to the Premiership. Moving down into League 1, and my notable mention for this league has to be Stranraer 2, Montrose 2, because there was a lot of late goals in it, and obviously 2-2 draw, good amount of goals in the game, and I just think that it's not quite up there with the game of the week, but it definitely deserves a mention, because that amount of entertainment in a game, despite the fact that it ends up in a draw and both teams don't really come out better, I just think it was worth a notable mention. My game of the week though has to go to Airdrieonians 0, Forfar 2, because it really does show that Forfar are going to continue to be a promotion candidate in League 1. They made some shrewd signings this summer with players like Jackson from Brecon, Tapping from Brecon as well I believe, and also Jordan Kirkpatrick for Alloa, and Ross Forbes, who was at Dumbarton last season if I'm correct. And players like that, even though they might not have the exact amount of pace that you would want from players in even the league above, but they certainly have the nous to have the experience in them to get past teams in League 1. Forfar are definitely showing, as I said, that they're going to be promotion candidates, and a win at Airdrieonians, who do have a decent squad as well. I really do think that an impressive result, especially on opening day of the season. It really sets the tone for the league that they are definitely going to be up there. If not automatics, then definitely involved in the promotion playoff talk, because Forfar do have a really strong squad as well. I talk about Airdrieonians' squad being impressive, but as I said, with the names that I mentioned before that Forfar have even signed this summer, forgetting other players as well that they already had, they've also signed players like Adam Eckersley on top of that as well, so they've got a very nice squad that they've put together, and I do expect Forfar to be involved heavily in at least the promotion playoff chat this season. And then finally down into Scottish League 2, and my notable mention for this week is going to go to Cove Rangers 5, Edinburgh City 0, because it was just such an impressive win for Cove Rangers. I spoke about it in the last word as well, and I just think that they're going to be up there and probably within a chance of winning that league. However, my actual game of the week for Scottish League 2 is going to go to Stenhousemuir 2, Albion Rovers 3. Albion Rovers had a terrible season last season until sort of the very end of it when they started to pick up results and avoided relegation, but they've started this campaign off with a flyer and going away to Stenhousemuir and winning 3-2. The team that just came down from League 1, that being Stenhousemuir of course, it's an impressive win for Albion Rovers, because despite the fact Stenhousemuir will obviously be a bit deflated for being relegated, it's always an impressive victory going to the recently relegated side and winning the game, especially when you didn't have the most impressive season last campaign. So kudos to Albion Rovers. They've started off the season well, going 2-0 up in the first place and then getting pegged back to 2-2, and then winning a penalty to go and then win the game 3-2. It shows that resiliency that Albion Rovers are obviously trying to get into their squad. They didn't show up at all in the game in the Betfred Cup that we played against them, where we beat them like 6-0. But obviously the level that they're at is League 2, and they've certainly shown a bit of character in that league this week, and that is why it's my game of the week for Scottish League 2. So that's it for this video, guys. Cheers for watching. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like. Let me know what you think about this wee series, what I think's the game of the week. Let me know what you think about it, and also comment your game of the week from each league as well. I'll be interested to know. Subscribe for more of this type of content, and until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.